Ford has just fired a warning shot across Formula One, and it hit hard. Their return to the sport alongside Red Bull isn't just about making headlines, it's about rewriting what an F1 engine can do. Together, they're building a 2026 power unit so aggressive, so advanced, it's already sending shockwaves through rival teams. Some are rethinking their entire approach, others are quietly panicking. The FIA, they're flipping through the rulebook, trying to figure out if this monster even fits within the lines. Red Bull calls it the most powerful engine ever conceived, and if that's true, 2026 might just be the start of a new era no one's ready for. Now let's rewind the drama. After years of will they won't they antics with Honda that felt more like a soap opera than an engine supply deal, Red Bull finally stopped waiting and moved on. Ford, the American powerhouse that hasn't been this excited since they made the Mustang roar in the 60s. They've been itching to swap their built tough tagline for built fast, and this is their golden ticket back into the heart of racing glory. But here's the twist. This isn't just a power unit. It's Frankenstein's monster in the form of a turbo hybrid. The kind of engine that doesn't just chase lap times, but terrifies dynos in wind tunnels. Rumor has it, this monster could have enough raw energy to generate its own gravitational field. Okay, not quite, but you get the picture. Red Bull and Ford are looking every other team square in the mirrors and flooring it. And as 2026 looms, one thing's clear. If you're not already bracing for impact, you're about to be swallowed whole by Formula One's newest Frankenstein. Back when flip phones ruled the world and Fernando Alonso still got asked for ID at bars, Ford quietly tiptoed out of Formula One. But now, after a 2-decade power nap, they've decided to rejoin the chaos. Not with a whisper, but by teaming up with Red Bull to raise the most unpredictable child in motorsport history, a next-gen F1 engine. And while Red, this isn't your typical legacy brand returns with pride story. No, Ford's not showing up with polished brochures and nostalgia. They've rolled up their sleeves, partnered with F1's most rule-bending rebels, and are now knee-deep in hybrid headaches that sometimes involve actual fire. It's like watching two mad scientists, one with a V8 growl, the other with a can of Red Bull, and a copy of the FIA rulebook with all the margins annotated. Mark Rushbrook, Ford's global performance boss, tried to sound confident as he stood next to a hybrid unit smouldering slightly around the edges. It's about power and reliability, he said, though he was also half glancing at an engineer wielding a fire extinguisher like it was a routine coffee break. In theory, it's a match made in high-octane heaven. Ford brings decades of combustion expertise. Red Bull supplies the relentless innovation and occasional rule-dodging wizardry, and their engineers, well, they've practically earned a PhD in why did it explode this time. Formula One's 2026 power unit regulations read like a science fair gone rogue, half electric, half internal combustion, and fully capable of making even seasoned fans scratch their heads in confusion. It's the most complicated mixtape of propulsion ever attempted, and somehow Red Bull and Ford looked at that rulebook and said, challenge accepted. Ford's taking charge of the electric side. Think MGUKs, battery packs, and probably a flux capacitor if they can sneak it past scrutineering. Somewhere in Dearborn, someone's definitely whispering, it's alive every time they hit the power switch, with components powerful enough to light up a small village, or at least one very angry Formula One car. Red Bull is wrangling the internal combustion unit. That means one thing, extracting every decibel, horse, and iota of mayhem from a turbocharged V6 without breaking too many FIA clauses, or at least not getting caught doing so. If chaos could be bottled, Red Bull would trademark it, slap wings on it, and feed it into a combustion chamber. And in a plot twist, Ford's engineers are using 3D printing to whip up components faster than Max Verstappen clears traffic. Sure, today it's an MGU part. Tomorrow, who knows, maybe an espresso machine for the pit wall. This isn't innovation, it's engineering with caffeine in its bloodstream. And the way things are shaping up, 2026 might just be the year F1 stops being a sport and becomes a sci-fi series with engine notes. In Formula One, engines are meant to endure grueling race distances without acting like they've got a death wish. But Red Bull and Ford, they've taken the scenic route through madness, choosing to chase power like a dog chasing a postman, loud, relentless, and with absolutely no concern for what might break in the process. Their motto seems to be, unleash the beast now, worry if it survives later. Every time we find extra power, we test for durability, said Mark Rushbrook, right before a turbo decided it had seen enough and yeeted itself off the test bench like it was filing a workplace hazard complaint. Somewhere in that Milton Keynes facility, engineers have probably started wearing flame-resistant optimism. So far, the engine has endured 7 endurance runs, 5 emergency exorcisms, and 1 emotional support session with Mercedes' infamous W13. machine, which reportedly just nodded in sympathy and muttered, "Been there, spun that." At this point, it's less about performance metrics and more about survival stories. The latest test run, let's just say it began with a triumphant, "It's alive," and ended with the power unit wheezing into limp mode, like it had just run a marathon with one piston tied behind its back. Yet somehow, the engineers grinned, because in their world, this isn't failure, it's personality. This partnership is being positioned as a long-term, strategic collaboration, with both Red Bull and Ford emphasizing a shared vision for the future of Formula One. Red Bull gains access to Ford's advanced research facilities, experienced engineers, and deep technological expertise, particularly in electrification. In return, Ford secures a strong re-entry into Formula One, aligning with one of the most successful teams of the hybrid era and re-establishing its presence on the world stage. Christian Horner has described the relationship as seamless, indicating a strong alignment in objectives and early progress in technical integration. For both parties, the collaboration reflects not just a response to regulatory change, but a calculated move to lead it. One of the key benefits for Red Bull is Ford's ongoing work in electric mobility, particularly through its Mustang Mach-E program. This could significantly influence the development of the hybrid side of the power unit, strengthening efficiency, energy deployment, and recovery systems, critical under the 2026 regulations. With major rivals like Ferrari still refining strategic operations and Mercedes facing challenges in concept direction, the Red Bull-Ford alliance has a clear opportunity to capitalize on the shifting competitive landscape. By combining cutting-edge combustion and hybrid technologies, they're aiming to set a new benchmark in performance and reliability under the next-generation rules. If the power unit delivers as expected, it could redefine what's possible in Formula One hybrid engineering. If not, it will offer valuable lessons on the challenges of rapid innovation. Either way, this partnership marks a pivotal chapter in Red Bull's evolution and Ford's return to the pinnacle of motorsport. Formula One's 2026 season marks a shift towards sustainability, with a greater emphasis on electric power and synthetic fuels. But while most teams are approaching the changes cautiously, Red Bull and Ford are taking a more radical path. Their joint power unit project isn't just about compliance, it's about dominance. This engine is designed to push the limits of hybrid technology, blending performance with innovation in a package that has the entire grid watching closely. This partnership between Red Bull powertrains and Ford is more than a technical collaboration. It's a long-term strategy to reshape the future of F1, with Ford focusing on electric systems and Red Bull driving combustion development. The result could set a new benchmark, or prove just how hard innovation really is at the cutting edge of motorsport. If successful, this engine could define a new era. If not, it will still stand as one of the boldest engineering gambles in F1 history. Will Red Bull and Ford dominate 2026, or is Audi's F1 debut a bigger threat? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, goodbye for now.